session now. So first and foremost, I would really like to thank all of you for joining in today. Today we have a very interesting session planned for all of you. The title of today's session is Search Engine Marketing for Quality Lead Generation. Starting an AdWord campaign doesn't take more than 5 minutes, but using it effectively so that you generate quality leads takes a lot of time as well as a lot of energy. So in today's session, what we would be discussing is we'll look into the details on how to do it effectively. We'll look into how to do keyword research, how to write your ad copy, how to structure your ad account for success, how to measure results by using the reporting tools, how to do the landing page optimization, what are the best practices in that regard, and how to do the testing to see what's working in your campaign. To lead this session, we have with us Reema Prasanna. Just to give you a little background of her, she was with Google for 3 years, and then she joined Reprise Media, and in her recent assignment, she's a director with Briefcase Digital Communication. I'm really delighted and excited to have Reema with us today. She's actually also associated with she's a part of a Google Partners program, wherein she's actually training all the agencies associated with Google on how to leverage Google AdWords effectively. In fact, it gives me a great pride to share that she has recently joined Digital with their trainers team as well. So Reema, I'm really excited to have you here with us today. Without taking any further time, I'll now hand over the session to Reema. Those of you who are joining us for the first time, just to set the logistics, by default, all of you are muted. So anytime during the session, if you have any question, you can type it down in the question panel. We'll have the session for about 30-35 minutes, and then we'll have an open Q&A. That's it from my side. Over to you, Reema.
Thank you so much, Kapil, and hello everybody. My name is Reema, and we are going to go through some of the basics of how to kind of structure your AdWords accounts in a way that you are comfortable with generating good quality leads. We are going to go through quite a few of the basics, but given that Kapil has just very kindly reminded us that we just have 35 to 40 minutes because you guys also need your question and answer time, I'm going to start right away. Our agenda for today is these few topics. We are looking at researching keywords, writing ad text, structuring for success, testing landing pages, conversion tracking, and we're going to look at a quick tiny little case study, just like a one-slider. Alright, so we begin with researching keywords. You were talking about keyword discovery and using the Google Keyword Planner to analyze keyword frequency, competition, and relevance metrics. Again, just to remind you guys, in case you have any questions, please type them out in the chat window and we will take them at the end of the session. Alright, so we're going to start with looking at a sort of a fictional sort of example. We're looking at a client, her name is Linda, and she owns a little bedding store. She focuses on bedding for girls. She wants to start advertising online and is planning to kind of build out a list of keywords that she can work with within her account. What we need to do here when you start building out a keyword list is start with two very important steps. The first is identifying your seed keywords, and the second is expanding that existing list. Usually, your seed keywords are something that you kind of pick out from a bunch of processes. The first process is definitely getting into a conversation with your client and finding out what is important to him, what verticals does he belong to, what is competitor site, what is his website like, what are the key phrases or words that he's using across his website. You will get a generic idea from his product list or his inventory list. Also, talking to customers sort of becomes important because as a client, when you are absolutely involved in your product, you start associating certain words with your product constantly, which also means you start missing out on what are synonyms or what are the cultural references that kind of mean or refer to the same thing. For instance, if you are talking about lockets, there's also pendants, there's also charms, which are kind of connected to that same list of words, which is where it becomes important to also kind of distinct from how your customers probably out there looking for you. The next is expanding this existing list of keywords. Here is where Google's free tool kind of comes in. Most of you must have heard about the keyword planner. It used to be called the keyword tool a while ago. It's part of your AdWords account. It's a free tool. It's listed under tools. So what we basically do is we start with the main keyword. In case of Lisa, it is girl's wedding. So this is where your keyword planner actually stays. It's under tools now after the whole dashboard kind of changed and revamped. You will find it I think the third tab of your AdWords account, in the dashboard once you log in. This is what the keyword planner sort of looks like. It expands into multiple options, but it's the one we primarily work with. That's for new keyword and ad group ideas. So usually the default that we all go for. What you do here is enter one or more of the keywords that you finally decide to work with. In the case of a particular client, right. The next option is your landing page, where you have two options. One is if you have your own website already ready, you have decent content, you have your product listed out. This is where you enter your website. Now, in case you do not have a website, it is okay to go ahead and enter your competitor's website in this section. It is also okay to leave this particular section absolutely empty. The next is the product category. This is again another option that you can kind of use to explain to the keyword tool that you're looking for a certain kind of category or a certain kind of subcategory. It is again also okay to leave it completely blank. So here we are kind of selecting the baby wearing option. Next, select your targeting. Now this is an option that I specifically will insist all of you use, because keyword now has the ability to kind of localize your searches. So if there are searches that are very specific to a certain geography, or there is a certain keyword that is connected to your particular vertical or for what you're researching, but is not something that is used in other countries, there is a certain cultural reference to it, and this is a great way to kind of tell Google that I'm looking in specific at only this geography. I hope all of you guys are already aware that when you're selecting or targeting, it doesn't matter where you are sitting at the moment geographically. You are basically looking at targeting a country that your client is looking kind of promoting it. The next is languages. Sorry. Okay. The next is languages. You can usually leave this blank. It's not absolutely necessary that you go ahead and explain that you are only looking at English, but it's great to nonetheless kind of enter that option. Google is selected by default. Now, there is a section called negative keywords here. Now, this is a great way if you are looking at advanced research. So, in case you're looking at only a certain kind of keyword, you're not looking at another type at all, this is a good place to kind of enter your negatives. So, let's say you're looking at maybe buying life insurance online, or you're looking at researching life insurance online. These are two different things. When you're out there to buy life insurance, you're already looking at a certain action. But when you're researching life insurance, you're looking at reviews. You're looking at which are the best, which are the least expensive, which have got great reviews from other people, other complaints surrounding it. A client who is out there who's trying to kind of get leads for life insurance schemes for his client is not interested in showing his ads to people who are just doing basic research online. They're not actively looking to buy, or they're not actively looking to fill up a form. In which case, you would probably want to consider putting your negative keywords in here. So what the tool does is kind of absolutely figure out all the keywords that are related to keywords that you are not interested in. So this is pretty much the kind of targeting options you have on the keyword planner. Going ahead, we have these other advanced filters. which help you kind of customize your search experience with the keyword planner. So you have keywords, you can actually specify that you need a minimum of these many searches, or you want to specify that it should not exceed this particular CPC. These are filters you can already tell the keyword planner to consider before running the search. There's also keyword options. If you're working from within your account, the keyword planner pulls up your history and your account data and accordingly tailors the kind of keyword suggestions it comes up with. In the keyword options panel, you can actually hide keywords that are already in your account so that you don't duplicate keywords while you add them to your account after you're done working with the planner. Or hide keywords in my plan. So if you've already created a plan within the keyword planner, you don't want to look at the same keywords again. So you can actually ask the tool to kind of hide it from your view. Include and exclude is again, exclude is sort of the same option that negative offers. If you have not done it in the previous panel, you can do it here. If you want to particularly target a certain intent, include is a great way to do it. So if you're actively looking only for people who want to buy insurance online, or want to be contacted by a particular finance company or an insurance company, you know that they're out there to take an action, not just research or not just read information, which is why you would want to include like buy, contact, things like that. That's where you can include or exclude particular keywords in the tool they have into account. Then there is this also a little option of show adult ideas, show keywords in my account, show keywords in my plan. This is pretty much what we spoke about just before this. Right, so we're back to our client because you hit on get ideas. This is the kind of results that the tool throws up. So keywords are usually sorted by relevance by default. You have options like the average monthly searches, your suggested bid, a bunch of other options also you can kind of add from this panel. What's really important for us to consider on this panel are these. Competition. There's a number of advertisers that are bidding on each keyword relative to all the keywords across Google for that particular location and targeting that you have already set in the tool. Average monthly searches. So this takes into account the 12 months of the number across Google for each keyword in that.
Hey, hi Rima, we are not able to hear you.
Able to hear? I think there's a bit of lag. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so moving from there, we have the average CPC. Now this becomes a pretty important factor for you to consider whether you want to really consider using a keyword or not within your account. This is a great way to kind of also start creating estimation of the sort of budgets you're looking at. This is an approximation. It is an estimate. It's not always value. And like all of you know, it's a dynamic auction, so things keep moving very quickly as far as the CPCs go. But it's a good estimate, and it's sort of an average, so you can still consider it. It's usually on the higher end. Once you start bidding within your account, you know that you can bring it down if your account is structured correctly. So this is the average CPC is a good way to tell if you want to buy keywords. Usually the high competition keywords are the ones that have a higher CPC. These three factors is what you need to be considering before you decide if you want certain keywords. So once you've customized your search and you've gotten this panel through, you've picked out the keywords that you're looking at and which of these work for you. You can also then decide how these keywords added to your account and what match type. So you can decide to go with broad match. You can decide to go with exact phrase. You can also decide to add entire ad groups to your plan. If you don't want to look at individual keywords, if that's too time consuming, you can just look at the ad group ideas. Now, if you see, the ad group names are kind of highlighted in blue. And if you hover over the keyword next to each ad group, just a moment, guys. If you're able to hover over all of the the keywords that you're looking at, exactly what the cursor is right now. So if you hover over those, you will see whatever keywords are kind of added within that particular ad group. From there, you can kind of directly go to this section, add this particular ad group idea to your plan. It all shows up on the right-hand side, and from there, you can just directly import it either within your account, or you can kind of also pull that data into a CSV, and you can then also kind of export it within AdWords and start work with it. Alright, so this is what your plan kind of shows up as. What you can do here is pretty interesting. You can actually set a range of your bid. You can say that, this is how much I'm going to bid. This is the lower limit, that's the upper limit. And you do exceed it. And what the plan then does is it kind of gives you an estimation of the number of clicks you will receive on a daily basis and the kind of cost to take on a daily basis again. So that kind of helps you also to create your search plan before you can pitch to your client. Alright, so this is what these keywords are. So for instance, let's use these 5 keywords, and this is the bid range that has been kind of explained, and these are the estimates. You get up to 56 clicks and it's about £82 on a daily basis.
Hey, Rima.
Alright.
You there?
So this is your keyword planner. This way you've entered your bids, you've entered your daily budget, and once you click on get detailed estimates, you can actually come up with a plan of this sort. Now, I know a lot of agencies create such plans on a daily basis, be it or be a review with their clients on a monthly or a weekly basis, however you all work. What really helps is to kind of factor in the keyword planner and use it actively to be able to pull up estimates for your clients. So you can actually start talking about the number of clicks you can expect on the basis of a certain budget. You can talk about the impressions. You can also kind of give them an idea of the average positions that they are looking at. And definitely there is a cost factor involved. So you can talk about the kind of daily budgets a particular campaign will be able to put up. Okay. So the other good thing about working with a keyword planner is while it's throwing up keywords for you, it also helps you to start doing your keyword research for negative keywords. So for instance, look at these keywords: there's girls bedding sets, girls beds, there's nursery bedding, next girls bedding, all of these different keywords. Now our client essentially sells girls bedding. She doesn't sell girls beds. She does not sell, let's say, maybe a girl's family. In which case, this is a great way for her to find out which keywords don't really completely work for her and include those within her negatives. Okay. The other thing that the keyword planner helps you do is multiply keyword lists to get new keyword ideas. Now, this is also something that you can do within AdWords Editor. But with AdWords Editor, you have to manually enter the kind of words you're looking at, and then it kind of multiplies the list with the other. This is something you can do while you're online within your account, and you can also project this particular option is great for you to kind of pull up a list of keywords you can then share with your clients for them to approve and go ahead with. Alright, so just to put it in context, if you're looking at, let's say, a life insurance where leads are absolutely important, and we are not really, nobody really kind of goes out and buys, let's say, a term insurance completely online. This is done enough research about it. Insurance and finance is definitely one of those verticals that completely works on the basis of leads. Just to give you an idea of how this works as far as keyword research goes, these are sort of the 4 kind of categories you're looking at when you're doing your keyword research. The first is general terms. So you have life insurance, general life insurance schemes, best life insurance. These are important keywords for you. Competitors are the next branch of keywords that you should be looking at within the keyword tool. sorry, the keyword planner. So that's your SBI life insurance, you have HDFC, you have LIC. Assuming that your client is, let's say, a life and life insurance, branded terms then becomes really important. So you're working with all insurance related keywords, but with your brand name beginning. So you have Birla Sun Life, and so on and so on. And eventually, finally, of course, it's negative. So if we are actively trying to get people to know about our insurance schemes online, we are not interested in showing for keywords like reviews, or compare, or comparison, or complaints, or types of insurance, or companies who sell insurance. So these could be possible negative keywords. All of these kind of come up with the keyword planner once you start doing your research. So that was pretty much about researching your keywords. We are moving on to, again, a little basic, but they kind of brush you through what you need to remember when you're working with a vertical where leads are important to you. Okay, so let's look at this one little example. You have adventure travel packages, adventuretravelsite.com/packages. Unique tips for life, book a once-in-a-lifetime trip. So this is one example that we have of a client that would probably either sell online or ask his potential customers to sort of fill up a form and then contact them eventually. Okay, guys, just give me a moment. Okay. So this is sort of how your text ads show up across Google. So depending on the kind of website it's showing up on, or if it's showing up within the search results page of google.co.in or .com, or if it's showing up on a search network site, or if it's showing up on a display site. These are a few of the ways in which a text ad kind of shows up. This is an example of how a text ad will probably show up on display. I know we don't see a lot of them anymore. We are pretty much, moving over entirely to display within the JAGs and with that. But you still have the option of running text ads, and I think you should always have text ads even within your display campaigns, because all publishers do not always accept image ads or video ads across their entire inventory. There are spaces where only text ads can appear. So let's not give ourselves the option of, oh, we didn't appear on a particular website because we never had a text ad for it. So make sure, even if you have display ads within your display campaign, always add one or two text ads in that. All right. So back to our example. This is sort of how our ad at the moment looks. You already know about the character limits. So ideally, we stick within these parameters unless we want our ads to group. So this is like sort of a no-brainer, but all of you all should know by now that these are our limits. Okay, these are the primary do nots. You guys already know that there are multiple AdWords policies that you have to adhere to, but some of the most important ones are our particular topic of the day for lead generation goals. This is extremely important. Do not use unnecessary capitalization. It looks very unclassy, and unless your brand name has been trademarked in a way that it's all caps, your ad will get disapproved if you're using unnecessary capitalization. You can intercapitalize, that is allowed, but just unnecessarily kind of saying something like click here with CLI in it definitely gets disapproved. Then you have unnecessary punctuation, putting an exclamation mark in the headline, or putting more than one is not allowed. Violating copyright and TM policy, saying something like Birla Sun Life Insurance is much better than SBI and LIC. It's going to get disapproved for trademark policies. You can't really use competition names in your text ads. You can use them in keywords, but you can't really use them as far as your ad text really go. Make false claim that cannot be verified. Say that we got voted the best or whatever, or saying that the most amazing insurance scheme. See, things that cannot be verified by Google. When we see a text ad and we go to your landing page, unless it's very clear the claims you're making are absolutely, do not put any kind of claims in your website. on your ad text. Using short forms that are not universally acclaimed. For example, before written as E and for, those kind of the SMS language sort of a thing that doesn't really work. You will get improved unless it's universally acclaimed short form is technically not allowed. So try and remember these. You're working with verticals that require a amount of seriousness and a certain amount of trust. We are trying to make sure that with the ad text, it's pretty much the first point of contact that your client is. So it's great to keep it correct. It's great to keep it clear. It's great to keep it concise. What we are looking at now is best practices for actually creating compelling ads. So let's get into this with an example of India travel packages. So these are example keywords that we are looking at. So travel packages to India, India travel packages. This is an example of the kind of ad we will be running with those keywords. So award-winning India travel tours. Book your trip today and save 15%. Now, if you notice, India travel in this particular text ad is bolded out, it's highlighted, and so is the headline. If you see India travel packages, it's in bold. The reason that happens is when you use keywords which are part of your ad group within your text ad, they tend to get highlighted. Some of you will also be aware of DKI, which is dynamic keyword insertion. That's another great way to also make sure that the keywords that you are using within your ad group kind of get highlighted once you're using them in your text ad. Okay, so that's very much something for an India travel package in there. In the URL, display URL with a relevant page. So it's a target audience on life insurance and a lot of things. Here again, award-winning award, and you have a way of verifying that. Please put that out on your ad text because that will kind of differentiate you from everybody. So we have maybe a link or something of that sort, a banner to prove that we did, a video widget or whatever it is that you're keeping on the page. Again, please remember, if you're leading them to a particular page where lead is the eventual goal of this entire exercise, try and have not too many distracting elements happening on the page, flashy little widget here or a little calendar there. You bring them to a page, there's a certain goal. please make sure that the focus remains on what you're asking them to do, to fill a form or to enter their contact details or whatever it is that you're asking them to do. Make sure that the focus sort of remains within that space. Okay, please remember again that this is pretty important. It's called power words. So words like free, cheap, sale, special offer, limited time offer, tricks, due, tips, enhance, discover. All of these words, over the years as we worked within Google AdWords, we've realized that these words really appeal to people. It tells them exactly what to do. It tells them exactly what they are going to get at the end of this process. So if you can legitimately use power words, please use them. All right. Yeah, so that's the American insurance instance that if you get a speech today, your audience already knows what to expect at the end of it. Okay, so we are moving on to the next module within our webinar. It's called Structuring an Account Set. It's fairly simple, and if you have spoken to Google at any point in the past, if you've been able to get on a call with an account manager, if you've had an RM in the past, you will be aware of the fact that they keep talking about your structure isn't great, and that's probably the reason why things are not working out. What does that really mean? So we are trying to today see how exactly do we structure an existing AdWords account or starting a new account in a way that it kind of starts working for you instantly. All right, so the idea is to first think about your business, think about the advertising campaigns that you guys are creating, and to follow best practices that you can adopt to structure your new account or your existing account in a way that it works for you and your client. Okay, so this is an account hierarchy. This is how your account is sort of structured. You have the account level at the top. You have a bunch of campaigns under the account. Under each campaign, you have certain ad groups. And under every ad group, you have a bunch of keywords which are associated with a bunch of ads. Ads could be display or it could be text, whichever. Now, within a campaign, these are a few of the things that you can actually manage. You can manage the daily budget, varying style, the network you're targeting, which is either search or display, location and language targeting, bid adjustments, which can be based upon location, language, devices, ad rotation, and scheduling, and then you have the advanced campaign settings. So, within an ad group, these are the things you can manage. You can actually manage your keywords, the match tags that they're associated with. You have an ad copy. Under display, you have targeting options, and then you have the ad creative. So now that you know what the structure kind of looks like, and the different targeting options that are available within each of them, we're now going to look at examples of account structure and then figure best practices to make sure that your account works successfully. So let's look at this example. It's a brand called Uptown Clothing. They have men's clothing, they have women's clothing. Now within men's clothing, they have ad groups. So they have blazers, they have polos, they have jackets and coats, and then you have denims. Under women's clothing, we have dresses, jackets and coats, denims and skirts. Right, so the tip here is trying and breaking up a campaign and an ad group in a way that is as specific as possible. Now, usually the way I try and explain this to most people that I try and teach search to is to mirror your website in your account. So if you're looking at a website which has options like men's or women's, and then under that you have clothing, you have shoes, you have accessories, you have bags, or whatever it is that you're looking at. If it's real estate, and under that you have, let's say, residences, or you have corporate, office spaces. The idea is to break down your account in exactly the same way that your website is structured in, because that's the easiest way to work within the account. You will know exactly where to go if you are trying to run a report. You know exactly where to put a certain new category under, because what your account is essentially doing is trying to replicate exactly the way your website works or it looks. Okay, we're going to look at a bad example, and we have tons of these. I'm pretty sure you have all seen examples which we're looking at right now. So, this text is all kinds of whatever, xyzwebsite.com. and the text ads say we sell lots of furniture and have really good deals. Now, when I, as a target audience, go looking on Google, I don't exactly go and type buy furniture instantly. I know there are a lot of searches for that, but what really converts are not the extremely broad terms. What really converts and start delivering exactly what your TG is looking for. So when you Google, you're not exactly essentially looking only at buy furniture online. That's a great to find a website that sells furniture, but a great way to find exactly what you are looking for, which is where most of the high conversion values lie, is when you go looking for I'm buying a dining room table, so buy a dining room table, or buy a brass bed, or table lamps online, or coffee table online. You look for very specific things. So an ad text which is generic is okay, it covers all your bases, but it doesn't bring people hand holding into exactly what they're looking for. So trying to put all of these different keywords that you can see here under leather, leather sectional, and leather love seats, and all of these, then you have dining room table into one cluster, putting them all in one ad group, it just really doesn't work. I know you guys have worked with an account quite a bit, but ideally an account structure, as far as your keywords go, try and not exceed more than 10 to 12, at the max maybe 15 keywords per ad group for a search campaign, especially. So going ahead from here, this is a good example of how you will kind of work with that particular furniture ad that we saw on the previous slide. So you have in the campaign level, you have something like it's a well-targeted English campaign, and in the ad group you have leather love seats, you have leather couches in the other ad group. The leather love seats text ad talks only about leather love seats and takes you to a landing page that only has leather love seats. The same goes for the leather couches, and look at the keywords down there. You have leather love seats with the space, and you have variations of the same thing. Even with the leather couches, you pretty much have similar things. You also have misspellings. So if there are misspellings that are important to your particular ad group, please include those as well. So this is ideally how your campaign should be structured. Can we have differences like buy leather couches or leather couches? We can. Those are minor differences and you can accommodate them within the same ad group. But would you club love seats and couches together? Ideally, no, you wouldn't. All right. Okay, so best practices. Please organize your campaigns and ads into common themes. Many tightly knit ad groups to ensure balance between the keyword and the landing page. This definitely does result in higher quality scores and lower costs. Essentially, when in very tightly clustered ad groups, usually the quality score is 7 and above, which is the kind of space you want to be in. Also, please start utilizing enhanced campaigns which can allow you to bid differently on different devices, across different locations, across different times of the day and the days of the week. This is a great way to have complete control over how much money your client really is spending and how much value you then bring to the client. Okay. We are moving into landing page testing for your clients now. Ideally, this is a topic that we cover over almost an hour and a half because it gets pretty detailed, crazy. But I'm going to take you guys through a basic summary of landing page testing. I know it exists, and you guys know that this is out there and you use it. Very few of us really do it because it does require a certain amount of being able easily with the whole process of testing. But nonetheless, I would urge that all of you start actively using this because it's a great way to convince your clients that a certain thing works, and it may not necessarily be based on absolute logic or an absolute I know my product and I know how it works, so I know what should be working on the website. It doesn't always use that logic. So this is a way to kind of convince your clients to take a chance and do something different. Why? Pretty much because testing and how we use it kind of works like this. So just to give you an example, this is a particular website that we had worked with at some point where we had this landing page for like a grayish background, and what we kind of convinced them to do is change the background a little bit. Okay, so sorry. So what we basically essentially did is took this website and changed the background a little bit to start introducing incremental changes in the conversion rate that we were having. So as you can see, it's not a very particularly attractive landing page anyway. So we decided to make these a little different and start moving it to a little content heavy, brighten up the colors a little bit, and that's what kind of helped us test the whole process out and see incremental change between the conversions that we were having. Okay, just give me a moment. I'm hitting a bit of a lag. What I'm going to do is go on the slide a little bit because really it's freezing up my whole system. So, okay, I'm just going to talk to you guys. All right, just give me a moment. Okay. So usually when you start talking to a client, these are usually the people that you listen to. You first of all listen to the client himself. When I say hippo, it doesn't really mean hippo. It means the highest paid person who is working in that particular office. So usually exactly who their target audience is. They know exactly where the monies are coming from. They know exactly who they want to target. So you are definitely listening to the guy who's the highest paid person in that office. Then you have the creative genius. Creative genius because they are kind of working on the website, they're working on the front end. They know exactly where they want to put the design elements, so they have a say in how they want to kind of do the whole process. Then you obviously have people like us who are the Google professionals, and or you have website optimizers, and they're out there saying, "Yeah, I'm a certified expert, and it's obvious that you need to do this." So there are multiple people that you're kind of consulting before you can make a decision about something as simple as I want to change the background color, or I want to make the form a little shorter. Really, who we should be listening to are these people. These are your target audiences, and they pretty much are making sure that your company remains in business as a client. It's a great thing to kind of give them the deciding power of what really appeals to them, and go with what the majority kind of thinks is working for you. So, all right. So we're going to be looking at a bunch of testing types, just to kind of give you an idea of the three basic things that you can do once you start with landing page testing. And once you have some clarity on that, you can probably decide what will work with the level of client that you're working with, and then accordingly make a decision about which testing method you want to apply and to which client. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, so these are your three testing types. So you have A, B, and N testing. You have multivariate testing. You have split path testing. Now, just to take you quickly through what all three of these mean. Split path is something that quite a few of you will already be aware of. Also, A/B testing is just like the first thing that we try out when we consider something like testing a landing page. Also, now that we are kind of expanding the idea of it has also started considering simple factors like changes in the text ad. So even if you're trying different kinds of testing, in terms of you have different ad text, one particular text talks about let's say a certain USP, and the other has a different USP that is promoting, even that kind of becomes a certain type of setting. So A/B/N testing is basically you're splitting your traffic into 50%. So half of them go into one particular page, they see one particular page, the other half is another page. And what you draw in terms of data is what you kind of base your decision on. Multivariate testing again is pretty much the same thing, but you're introducing one more factor in there. So you're not just changing the background here, but you've also added a Trust Me logo to the landing page. So you want to now see whether it works with a black background, the regular one, or it works with a black background with a Trust Me logo, or if it works with an orange background and an orange background with a Trust Me logo. So what you've done is basically do a 2x2 multivariate testing. So your two main factors are background and the trust logo, whether it's on and off. The idea is to find the best combination of the two and then run with that. This is something I would really recommend. Have already tested one thing before and it's kind of worked out for them, so you want to take it to the next level. This makes a lot of sense. Okay, right. To tell you about split testing, and the reason I'm not putting a slide out there is because fairly simple and important for us as far as lead generation really goes. The idea is to take them to a landing page but have different conversion paths. So let's say you take one set of people into a conversion path which is fairly short, and the other which for the conversion path which is slightly long. As far as we go, I think a great example is a long form and a short form. Usually the short forms tend to win out over the long forms, but then there are also industries and verticals where you need a certain amount of information. Like in B2B, which is again a lead-based vertical, it becomes important for you to determine certain things before you can consider whether this lead is qualified or not. In which case your form will be a little longer than 3 or 4 fields, and that's okay. But if you're looking at something like insurance, you can kind of live with 3 or 4 fields within the form. Please go ahead and make sure that your forms are as short as you possibly can. Simple things like combining the name and the surname into one category. There is no need to really ask for both email address and phone number when you can live with just. It's completely your fact. Sample size, we have certain general rules of thumb that we kind of follow as far as the sample size really goes. It basically helps you understand how much traffic and that you really need. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so what you need to basically remember is what is the conversion rate, what is the measured difference between these variations, and how many variations are you really testing. As far as the A/B goes, you're probably just going to be sticking to one thing, but if you do multivariate or you do a split path, there's a possibility you are introducing multiple variations. You need to answer that first question. What is the measured difference? So these variations that you're looking at in the kind of data you've collected, is the difference between these, and what is the difference in the conversion rate? These sort of help you understand, which testing is really working out for you. Also, you need to know what percentage of your traffic are you testing with. Are you doing a 50-50 split? Are you doing a 60-40 split? Ideally, a 50-50 is a great way to kind of begin, but then there are also budgetary constraints. Some clients may say, no, I don't want to, take risk for such a big part of my, traffic. I just want to go with 30 or, 20%. That possibility also works. Also, how confident do you want to be in your results? So if you want to be extremely confident, a 50-50 is definitely a great. At the max, maybe stretch it out to 60-40, but beyond that, your results get significantly, skewed. So a 50-50 is a great way to kind of, split your traffic and kind of try your testing. Okay, as a general rule of thumb, I would say you should have 100 conversions per variation that you're testing. So if you have split your traffic, let's say, you need 100 per variation. So in total, you need 200 conversions for a variation that you're testing. This also demands that you are working with clients who are open to the idea of testing an idea and see what works better for them, and then going with that as a general rule. This also means there will be certain budgetary fluctuations, there will be spend fluctuations, and it's great to kind of prepare your client to expect these fluctuations, because that's what testing primarily implies. There will be jumps and ups and downs. All right. In case you guys still want to kind of get how your consumer months or whether it's 2 months, and also how sure you want to be. There's a tool by Cardinal Cuts. It's a free tool. You can there is a URL at the bottom of the page. You can try that out. You can kind of go enter your expected conversion rate, improvements that you expect, time estimation, the level of confidence, and then run the calculation. Please remember, it's an estimation at the end of the day, but nonetheless, it's a good tool to have to kind of base your so you can just kind of go ahead and enter these little details, and it will kind of runs an estimate for you and gives you a number. So these are the sort of test results that you can expect to see. Yeah. So once you get a sample size and the number of days that you should ideally run, let's say, a test for, so you can kind of start a talking point with your clients, saying that this is the kind of numbers they're looking at, and it gets a little easier to work around it and draw a reference point, and then accordingly start your testing. Okay, identifying test pages. Ideally, please pick pages that cost you money. Pages that, for instance, limited by budget, or pages that are important to you are also important. A definite factor when you want to consider which pages you want to consider testing. Your homepage or pages that get the maximum number of visits. Those are also great ways of kind of deciding which pages you want to test. Pages that feed high value conversion. So this is a bit of a, if you're selling a Ferrari, for instance, if one or two extra conversions is going to lead to a significant jump in the number of, the kind of revenue you've made, then high value conversion pages are definitely one of the testing. The last bit, which is tracking conversion in AdWords. Now, I use that this little bit is a little unnecessary for me to honestly talk about, but in my experience over the last almost 6 to 7 years in digital marketing, I've noticed a lot of people don't really talk about tracking conversions actively within AdWords. So I am still going to go through this process just in case I have people in the audience who are not already using it. So outlining my purpose, what is a conversion to you? Conversion can mean different things to different people. So as far as we are concerned, it's definitely a lead. So it could be a reservation form completion, online sale of merchandise in case it's e-commerce, receiving a call and booking. All of these kind of factor into the idea of conversion for a client. So we are going to be looking at where exactly you pull up your conversion tracking code from, and send it across to your client or to your team in case they are also into the development of the website. Right. So under tools, you have right on the changes tree, the second category, you have conversions right there. So once you click on conversions, it takes you to a panel where you can start identifying kind of conversions are definitive for you. What really defines a conversion for you? So you can upload a conversion type out here. You can set a new conversion. If your conversion happens on a website, on a web page, if it's a call on site, if it's a mobile or a tablet app where you're tracking this conversion, you can absolutely specify those here. You can also explain if there is a conversion window. So, your breakthroughs can get counted. There is a time lag in the conversion. There's a total estimated conversion. It gets counted within this window. Um, Count all conversions or count only conversions that come from that one particular click. You can mention all of those here. Um, there's a category for conversion. So purchase, sale, sign up, lead. Lead for us here becomes important. If you're running a lead-based campaign, please make sure you're not selecting a purchase or a sale as a conversion category, because that affects the code that is generated. Now, if you have access to the backend side, you can select I make changes to the code and insert it directly. If somebody else works with it, if the client works with it, then in that case, you pick the first option. This is the kind of code that gets generated, and from here you can either email the code to somebody or you can just copy paste it into the website backend. All right. So this is what the code kind of looks like. The little highlighted part is where the particular conversion type you have picked up. If it's a call-in, for instance, this is where it gets specified. Once you have conversion tracking activated within your account, you will basically see these extra categories populate at the end. At the end of average position, on this other side on the right hand side, you can see converted click, you can see cost per converted click, you can see click conversion rate. So these are activated only when your conversion tracking code has been installed, and it shows data only when it's being correctly installed and it's triggering off every time conversion is recorded. All right. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much it when it comes to conversion tracking and the modules that we were talking about. There is a tiny little case study. It's not really connected to what we've seen so far, and because number one, we have very less time, and I really will tell you guys about this. A lot of you qualify to use Google Beta products. So this is available to a lot of Google partners. There is a certain spend limit. If you have exceeded that kind of spend limit as an agency within the Google book of business, Google rolls out new products within AdWords very regularly. So they can actually include within the beta and introduce new products and new features within AdWords to use specifically and to your client. There is a whitelist that gets rolled out, and you can become a part of it. Active will, if you qualify to be part of it, and if you do get to it, because this is a great way to test out new products, and it also helps tremendously when you're looking at something like lead generation. Just to give you an example, and this is my case study, and we, AGFC kind of agreed to share this little thing that they, tried out with, Google sponsored promotions, which is running within Gmail, and replace Gmail as basically. What the idea was basically, HDFC decided to run a campaign within Gmail and targeting NRIs who are living in countries like Singapore and UAE for their NRE savings product. The idea was to reach the inbox of relevant audiences at or below a target CPA. What we did for them is basically geo-targeted the relevant markets with separate campaigns for various countries. Remember, it's great to kind of break down your campaigns on the basis of countries you're targeting them. Targeting via keywords like Indian names, Indian festivals, which tend to kind of become contextual within the body of your email. Domains like travel sites, bank domains, real estate domains. They also leverage according to you follow. The results generally were 32% lower cost per lead for the NRE savings product in UAE, and it also saw a 62% lower cost per NRE savings product in UAE. This is awesome, because what happens is the minute you're in beta, one, you're getting a great window to do experiments in. Number two, there's very much competition in that space because it's still not rolled out for the rest of the planet. So you are still kind of a pioneer in that space, and you have enough time to kind of figure it out. Which also means you see tremendous amount of performance, and getting a client to beta and doing a successful campaign with them also means there is more leverage for you to garner more leads kind of push more products that work for your clients without having to really fight a fierce battle about, you need to do this, and your client is like, no, we don't really want to try this out. So if this is something that's worked out for them before, if you've done a great job introducing them into a beta product before, chances are they will be open to the idea of trying out more products and trying out more features with you as an agency. So that's pretty much it as far as the case study goes, and as far as the general module of this webinar goes. You guys have we right now, so the floor is open.
Great. So first of all, thanks Rima for a wonderful crash course on Google AdWords. Guys, since we're first, and a lot of people actually faced a lot of issues regarding the audio issues today. I'm really sorry about it, and we'll try to take care of it next time. And since we are running short of time, what I'm doing is I've just put down all the hands which were raised earlier. So if there are, we'll take just a couple of questions. So if you have any questions that you want to ask, you can just press the hand raise button. We'll take another maximum 3 or 4 questions in all. So I have Usha, you have raised your hand, so I'm unmuting you. Yeah, Usha.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Rima, and thanks, Digital Vidya, for this presentation on Google AdWords. See, I have been working with Google AdWords. Actually, I've been venturing in since 2005. Okay, so what I found, actually, so you would have known, as you mentioned, Rima, like Google AdWords have been changing the settings and all those things. What I found is 2005, 2006 and 2007, that year, I had a very good conversion lead and all. But now I find that Google keywords, the cost per click, it's, I mean, what we fix, I mean, it is not pertaining to that, like what the Google keeps expecting more and more raise in that keyword cost per click, and my no my input for the Google keywords, what I'm paying cash from me goes out more often. I'm not able to judge like how the Google is tracking, like how the CPC has to be decided. I wanted to have some inputs from Rima about this. I hope my question is clear. Like,
Yes, Rima.
yeah. Hello.
Yeah, Rima, are you there? Rima? Hey, Rima, are you there? Looks like there is some audio issue at Rima's
Yeah.
end. And
Yeah. So should I note it down,
yes,
and how will I ask Rima?
I think one thing that would help everybody has said that it's a very interesting session, and throughout the session there was voice issue. So at our end,
Yes.
we'll definitely talk to Rina and try to reorganize it. And another thing that I
Yeah.
think was important is, since it's a really long session, we'll probably try to divide it into two and have an sort of,
Yeah.
we have more times for the Q&A later, right?
Yes.
And that might help. So
Yes.
as of now, what you can do is, if any one of you have any question, you can
Yeah.
mail it to me. It's kapil@digitalvidya.com. So what I'll do is I'll forward all those questions to Rima and ask her
Yes.
to reply back over the mail. So that's something that
So it's couple. It's
kapil at the rate
KAPIL.
kapil@digitalvidya.com.
Fine. I'll forward my queries to this mail ID and kindly revert back to me
Sure.
from Rima.
Sure. I'll
Thank
forward
you.
it to the Rima, and guys, really sorry about the all the audio issues
No
you
problem.
faced.
Yeah.
Guys, what I'm doing simultaneously is that, we do online trainings in the digital marketing space. So just launch this poll question in front of you. If you could reply back, then I'll have someone to call you. You can take it more like a commercial break, but if anyone of you is interested in taking a formal course, you can just mention yes over here. Rima, are you back? Rima, are you there? Okay, looks like guys, there's a problem at Rima's end. Wait for another couple of minutes. If she can get back, then we'll have some questions, or else we'll organize another sessions for the Q&A. Rima, are you there? Okay, fine. So guys, so that's it from my side. Once again, sorry for all the disturbances related to voice you faced today. We will share probably the presentation of today's session with all of you. Recording, I'm not sure how many of you will go through that, but we'll definitely share the recording also. And other than that, as I mentioned, we'll try to reorganize this session, and that taking care of all the issues. So that's it. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your participation. Thanks a lot for bearing with us. And hope to see you soon in the next sessions. And thanks a lot, everybody. The session is closed.